Life path number 5. Life path number 5, people are very, very, very creative. They're spirits of change. They're lovers of change. They're always moving, constantly evolving. They're always creating. Creating is the name of the game for them. They live for it. They breathe for it. They eat, sleep creation. They don't like to be limited. Their freedom is super important to them. Their space, their time to create is very important. And if these things are limited or restricted in any way, they tend to go crazy. They don't know how to deal. They get depressed. This is their life. This is all they know. So because of this, they don't usually live in one place. They always move. They love traveling. They love seeing new cities, new places. They're always moving. They're always wanting to see as many things, as many places, as many towns as they can. And they never live in one area for too long. They're constantly changing. They definitely move a lot, but they're not good leaders. They, most of the time, are freelancers, or they have their own businesses. They don't like to be boxed in. They don't like to work a traditional 9-to-5 job. That's not their forte. 9-to-5 is depressing for number 5 because they feel boxed in. They feel caged. They feel like they're in a jail. It's just not for them. They're very, very miserable in a 9-to-5 job. They are very good at manifesting and bringing their dreams to life and bringing their ideas to life and bringing their creations to life. They're really good at those things. Some of the negative aspects of a life path 5 is that they are quick-tempered. They can be vain. They are easily irritated. And they want quick results. They don't like to wait for results. And oftentimes they turn to gambling because they like the thrill of gambling. They like that. They find it just constantly changing and thrilling and just adventurous because they are adventurous people by nature. So a lot of the time, the life path 5 number will be drawn to gambling. They do have addictions, gambling addictions. They do really struggle with that. So it's one of the things that they really need to stay away from, because if they get into it, they really, really, really get into a lot of trouble. When it comes to love in personal relationships, they're very loving. They're very considerate of other people's feelings, but they're not very touchy-feely, super bubbly people. They love to have people around them. They love to connect with like-minded people and people who are constantly creating like they are, and people who they can share their ideas with. But they don't like to be secluded. They like to go on one-on-one dates with the people they're dating, with their spouses, with, their partners. But they tend to not get very deep. Commitment is an issue for them when it comes to relationships. Even in business, they like to take their time to do research and get to know a person before they commit. It's super hard to get a life path number to commit. It's one of the hardest things ever because they really, really are very guarded by nature. And to them, commitment equals lack of freedom, equals restriction, equals being, locked into a life of just routine, because they don't like routine. They can't follow routines. They can't follow plans really well. They like to just do things when the spirit moves them. So routine, they equal routine to marriage, to relationships. And for them, it's just depressing. They can't deal with that. They like to be spontaneous. And if you're not a spontaneous person, it's really hard to deal with number 5s. They often don't stay in a relationship too long, especially if they feel like it's getting very clingy, if it's getting too routine, if it's getting too just ambiguous, and if the relationship is sort of too routine and you guys are doing the same things over and over and over. And especially if they find that the person they're with is stuck in their ways and stuck to the same thing and is not open to change and not open to being spontaneous, they tend to be, turned off, and they look for other people. So they sort of don't end relationships in the right way. Just like in business and other things, they tend to start something and then they run to the next and the next and the next best thing. It's hard for them to start things that they finish. They may not always be ready for a relationship, but they'll start it. And oftentimes they hurt the ones that they're with because they get halfway and realize, oh, not for me, and they run to the next one without thinking. And it's not because they want to hurt the ones that they love or the ones that they are dating. It's just because that's their nature, to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep life, keep living. They don't dwell on things for too long. They can hold grudges, but they don't dwell on things. They don't do memories. Oftentimes, if you ask them about a certain memory, or remember when we did this back in the day or back in this day, they just won't. They don't hold on to memories. They are constantly changing. To them, little memories and milestones are not important, and this can create problems in relationships because they're not very big on anniversaries and things of that nature. Engagement anniversaries, marriage anniversaries, they tend to forget, and to them, it's they don't feel like it's necessary to remember, and that causes a lot of problems with them in relationships, and it leads to a lot of breakups. Just this thing alone, believe it or not. Life path 5 numbers, they tend to have a high divorce rate. It takes the littlest thing to get them to be turned off and to be done with the relationship. Their attention span is not very long. So you have to be a very, very creative, very captivating, very inspiring person to them. Otherwise, their attention shifts and they just check out of the relationship really fast. That's why it's because of this that they take commitment very seriously and that they don't make commitments all willy-nilly, because they know that they get turned off really quickly. They want to make sure that this person can stimulate their mind, this person can keep up with them, that this person can, follow them and be creative the way they are, because they're constantly moving. To be with a life path number 5, you have to really, really put on your running shoes, because they change at the drop of the hat. And if you try to change them, that really turns them off. It makes them depressed. It makes them feel like they're losing control over their lives. So that just won't work. There are a couple numbers that just won't work out really well with the life path number 5. 8s are very, very set in their ways. 9s are as well. And so is 3. These 3 numbers, life path numbers, really don't work out with the life path 5 because they're very set in their ways. Actually, 3s could work if they're more on the creative side, but 8s and 9s are really, really set in their ways, and it just doesn't work. And 5s connect really well with other 5s. It's a magical experience when two life path 5s are together. It's the most amazing experience. They're very sensitive as well. They're very sensitive, and they can be very diplomatic. There are certain celebrities who are life path 5 numbers. You've got Jay-Z, Beyonce, Bon Jovi, Tina Turner. She's always moving. And so are Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're always moving. They're always traveling. Just to give you an idea of the life path 5 numbers: Liv Taylor, Colin Farrell, Denzel Washington, Joaquin Phoenix. So these people are constantly evolving. You always see them creating and moving and traveling. You never see them sitting in one place. And like Beyonce, for example, she's always giving the best that she can give, always trying to be better and better and better. And that's how they are. They always strive to be better and better. They're perfectionists. Nothing is ever enough. Nothing is ever good enough. They always feel like they can give themselves and be better and better and better, you see. So they're always striving for that perfection. That can sometimes really depress them. And when they're criticized and when they're not seen as perfect, they really tend to get very self-conscious and very, very insecure. So it's really important for them to feel like they're doing something, for them to feel like they're making a difference in this world. Otherwise, they just don't know how to be. They're very, very interesting people. They're very loving people. They're humanitarians. They'll give the shirt off their backs. But the only thing they ask is to let them have their freedom. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos helping you find out answers, your future, and more about yourself.